Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1225. It's the day after the Madison Card Show. We had 200 dealer tables, 4 rooms. How did it go? We're going to talk about the show, how it went. Will we do it again? Will we run it back? 4 rooms, 200 tables in August. Next show, August 24th. Overall, pretty good show. I'd say it was a good show for July, the Saturday before the National. Several of my dealers will also be set up in Cleveland this coming week. I know a couple of them were leaving Monday, and I think one maybe Tuesday. So some of the dealers you saw in Madison yesterday, you may see in Cleveland, at the National. If you're going, I'm not going to Cleveland. We've talked about that. And thank God, after the trip from Switzerland and then hitting the ground running last week, it's been tiresome, very tiring. And we're going to do it a busy day today with more catch up on shipping. And later this afternoon, I'll be meeting up with the Singles Club as they're on their trek to Cleveland. So meeting up with them and picking up a little over 50,000 singles from the Singles Club later today. May do a video tonight. Might just do a live video tonight. We'll see. And show off what I'll be picking or what I did pick up from the Singles Club. I wasn't, because of today's purchase, today's upcoming purchase, I decided I'm not going to buy anything. I've got plenty of inventory. I'm going to try not to buy any Cubs for the PC. Guess what? I've bought basically what I can basically fits in this little Vistaprint business card box. Because I didn't even bring an empty box with me because I wasn't planning on buying any cards. Well, I bought some cards. So I'll tell you what I bought. And I did list some of the cards I bought in my eBay store. Check it out, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Let's throw that banner. It's been a few days since I've thrown the banner up. 99centcards.com. Hey, guess what I did last night? So I did my monthly post-show burger and beer with Bronco and Showtime after the show at the hotel bar. They changed, by the way, if you ever come out to the Madison Sheraton Hotel, the burgers are great. I mean, for hotel burgers, I know they're just from whatever company. There's like 3. Aramark. Is Aramark, are they a food company? I think they're the supplies, but there's like 3 companies, Cisco, and I don't know. There's like 3 companies that supply like all the food. Anyway, they're still good burgers. But they changed their French fry. They get different French fries. So the bartender said, let us know. We want feedback because we're split on whether we like the new French fries or we don't. So the previous recipe, they were more crispy, while these are a little softer. I am a soft French fry guy. I love the soggy McDonald's French fries. I don't like the crispy fries. So the new fry, I liked them. Bronco said he preferred the previous recipe, and I preferred the new ones. So Sheraton Hotel, Madison, new French fries. And then I came home, had a couple beers, and it's just like I'm so beat, so tired, so worn out. Listed some cards on the couch. It was like 7:30. I'm like, you know what? I'm carded out. I'm going to go sit by the pond. Now, John, that 70s Card Show, jokes about my fishing pole being set up against my e-bike or the treadmill, neither of which has been used this year, nor has the fishing pole. But I've only been back a week. So I'm like, I'm going to go sit down by the water. Grabbed a beer, grabbed my lawn chair, and I grabbed the fishing pole. And I got some bait. So the bait I texted my mom. My mom loves to fish. She just throws it back. That's all I did last night. So I wanted to give her a power bait. These are like night crawlers. They look like earthworms. So put those on the hook with my bamboo fishing pole. The moment I dropped the fishing pole in the water, I got a snag. And no, it wasn't seaweed or anything. It was a fish, a small fish. I bet I caught 6 fish in just 30 minutes. And they're I think all bluegill, and they were like decent size bluegill. I don't know if I would want to fillet them up and eat them coming from a neighborhood pond, but it's a large pond. It's about a 20-acre pond. It's a pretty big one. But I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and saved some fish lives, threw them back. But it was fun. Like it was a fun little activity, and it took my mind off. I didn't even bring my phone down there, so I couldn't even identify. Even if I'm pretty sure it was a bluegill, but I couldn't. I have a fish identifier, kind of like the plant identifier. You just take a picture. So that was fun. No, I'm not gonna become a fisherman. I'm not gonna become an outdoorsman, but a couple beers and fishing pole. It was actually, because sorting cards is no longer, sometimes it's therapeutic. And I've noticed when I sort the therapeutic part of sorting cards is usually when I'm sorting my Cubs, because when I'm sorting a stack of 1976 Topps football, that's like business. That's work, right? That's part of my business because I'm getting ready to list these. The therapeutic part of sorting cards is more of my Cubs personal collection. There was a thought. Oh, speaking of vintage 70s, one of my former dealers, he kind of bowed out of he still deals cards, but he just doesn't set up at card shows anymore. Tim, awesome dude, had I bought a few pre-war cards from him when he would set up at the Madison Card Show. He's a big vintage collector. And so he had noticed all of my vintage getting added to my eBay store. And so he put in an order for a whole bunch of 72 Topps football singles. And he came out to the show yesterday, and so he's like, you don't normally handle this kind of inventory. Like, did you buy a collection? I'm like, so let me tell you. And he was kind of kicking himself because these all came from the estate sale in Baraboo. He lives like 10 minutes from Baraboo. He's like, oh my God. He's like, I'm in the Wisconsin Dells Facebook groups, but I never thought of Baraboo. And I'm like, yeah, I think that was the only Facebook group they posted in. So he's like, he goes, they weren't near mint, but they were about as near mint as you could get. He's like, the condition on those is amazing. I'm like, and most of them were like that. Now the earlier, like the 70s and 71s were in VG, fair, some poor. But once he got to 72 and on through the 70s, those were in really nice condition. I did get it up. Speaking of those, I submitted 4 of the vintage cards to PSA through 5 Star Cards, one of our Madison Card Show sponsors. And so checked in with Matt and asked, you have any idea? I'm like, will they be back by the August 24th Madison Card Show? He's like, oh, they'll be back before then. He's like, I'll probably have them back for the Janesville show, which I'll be set up. The next show that I'll be at, I'll be set up with maybe quarter boxes. We'll see. We got a solid 3 weeks before that show. So should have some quarter boxes. I think I'm just going to bring all new quarter boxes and then dollar boxes. I'll have plenty of dollar boxes. So especially with what I'm picking up today. So I'll be in Janesville Sunday, August 11th. So 3 weeks from today. Where was I going with Janesville? The return. So the PSA, the Peyton, I subbed a Peyton rookie, a George Brett rookie, the Dr. J, Julius Erving rookie, and a 74 Topps Nolan Ryan. So it's in the grading process, and he said that they'll definitely be back in the next couple of weeks. So here's my thought, and I had a couple people ask, what do you think the grades will come back? So the Peyton, based on feedback that I've received, most people said 7 or 8. I'm trying to talk myself into the Peyton rookie is going to get a 7. I really want an 8. Really want an 8. I think I'll be slightly disappointed in a 7, but I'm just trying to talk myself into not being disappointed. If it's a 6, I'll be like pissed. If it gets a 6, I'll be pissed. So I think I'm realistically thinking 7. The Dr. J has a corner ding, but it's centered. The other 3 corners are nice. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever submitted to PSA, and I just don't know like the grading scale. So it's got like a corner ding. I don't know if I probably can't find the picture fast enough, but I'm thinking a 2 or a 3 because of the corner ding. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it outside of the corner ding. So with that, maybe it gets a 5. I don't know. I don't know how much they take off for a corner ding like that. So maybe it comes back a 5 or 7. I don't know. I'm thinking 2 or 3. The George Brett rookie, I'm thinking somewhere in the 5 to 6 range. Again, I don't know. I sold a raw copy to a listener, to a viewer of Hobby Evolution, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, and this was the lesser of the 2 conditions. The better condition I sent to PSA and sold the raw copy, and he said it was in better shape than what he was expecting. So that was a good sign. But still, I'm thinking 5 or 6 on the Brett rookie. The Nolan Ryan is sharp. The only exception is it's slightly off center. I really want it to get like a 7, but we'll see. So those are kind of the grades that I think. It'll be interesting to see what they come back. So I think bottom line, my predictions: Peyton rookie 7, Dr. J rookie, we'll say 3, a PSA 3. The Nolan Ryan, I'm going to say 7. And the George Brett, I'm going to say 5 on the George Brett. 5 on the Brett. So we'll see. Hopefully in 3 weeks, we'll find out. Well, maybe sooner, because I don't care. Like, I don't need to do reveals. I don't need to do a reveal video. When Matt says, "Hey, your submission's back," he's like, "Do you want to know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to know." So, and he did that this week because the 5th card I subbed went to SGC. So let me tell you a little bit about 5-Star Cards. They're sponsor to the Madison Card Show. They've been setting up. I think they set up I think the first time they set up was the very first Madison Card Show, where we opened the 2nd ballroom downstairs in the Williamson Ballroom, which would have been February of 2022. So they've been with us for over 2 years. And I've subbed. This is the first time I've ever subbed non-Cubs cards ever to any grading company. First time I've ever subbed to PSA, and first time I've ever subbed non-Cubs cards. So the 4 vintage, I wanted to go PSA, and I went I think it's called Economy Plus. It's not the lowest tier, but it's the second up. And I was going to go Economy PSA with a 2007 Topps Chrome blue refractor Justin Verlander, the rookie Gold Cup. This came in the estate sale. It was in the bulk buy when I went back on Sunday and bought everything that was left card-wise. And going through the boxes, I also bought the 74 Nolan Ryan, was also in that box. So I basically got these cards for 8 cents. And realistically, I paid a little more because there were several cards that are like junk wax, but I mean, we're talking maybe a couple hundred out of 13,000. So maybe I paid 9 cents. Anyway, so the Verlander, I'm like, this is a really sharp card. So I'm going to sub it. So I was going to send it PSA Economy. I did do the 5-star offers, the wipe down treatment, where he takes the microfiber, wipes it down, and then inspects it and gives you advice on either where to send it and what grade it's going to come back. And he's like, there's a big scratch on it. It's going to come back a 4. I wouldn't submit it if I were you. So in this case, he did the wipe down and inspected it. And he said, I would recommend sending this to SGC. I think you're going to get a much better grade. If you go PSA, it might come back an 8. And he goes, I think with SGC, you'll get a 9 and potentially a 9.5. And I'm like, okay, let's just do SGC. And so we subbed it to SGC, got it back this week. Matt texted me and he said, your Verlander came back. Do you want to wait until Saturday at the Madison Card Show, or do you want to know what grade it got? And I'm like, oh, you got to tell me. And I figure that's good news. That's good news. It came back a motherfucking 10. A 10. SGC 10, blue refractor, Justin Verlander, rookie gold cup. It is in my eBay store. It's not 99 cents, but you can find it if you go to 99centcards.com. There's like hardly any, there's some 9s that have sold in like the $75 range. I've got a really high price on. I've got it at $300 or best offer. It's not going to sell for $300, but I want to set the price high and just field some offers. I did get an $80 offer, which I'm not going to accept. So I think it's going to land somewhere. I think realistically, I could get up to 200 for it. Maybe 150. We'll see. I'm just going to let it sit in my store. I paid 9 cents for it. So I'm not in SGC gradings is low price as well. So I'm not in a hurry to move it. Verlander's a Hall of Fame. He will be a Hall of Famer. So we'll just see. I know it's an SGC, but it wouldn't have got a PSA. It likely would not have received a PSA 10. So that was some good news that I got this week on the submission. Let's go to the chat before we talk Madison Card Show. Todd's in the house. Good morning. Kyle is here. What's happening? Kyle says, I like the Swiss Army knife hat. I actually have 2 versions of this hat. I like it so much. This was the second one I bought. The first one is black. Same exact hat, except it's all black as opposed to white. And I saw this. I think I bought this one in Interlaken, actually. I got this in Interlaken. And I saw the white version. I'm like, I love white hats, so I've got to have it. So even though it's the exact same hat, I wanted this version as well. Thank you. SoCal guy, what's going on? Says congrats on another successful Madison Card Show. Thank you. It was a success. It was a great show. Bro Coin, what's going on? How was the show? It was any good. It was a great show. It was a successful show. In fact, I was kind of surprised by the feedback that I received yesterday. Herman, good morning. Just dropping in. Can't stick around. Throwing an all-day celebration for my daughter's 15th birthday. Thank you, Herman. Happy birthday to Herman's daughter. That's fun. Brian, good morning. Bronco, there he is. Good morning. Cooter's in the house. Funny story. Cooter reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, I think, and said, hey, I was at a card shop, and I don't know how I can't remember how the conversation went, but anyway, he was talking to a guy talking about the Madison Card Show, and Cooter met the guy. He's, I think, from Milwaukee, and I'm talking to one of my dealers yesterday, and he said, hey, can I get 4 tables? Usually he gets 2 tables. Hey, can I get 4 tables? Because I've got a friend that wants to set up. And I'm like, yeah, we can make it work. I don't know if I can get 4 together, but once things shake out, we can see how it works. And he goes, yeah, he was I think he met one of your friends in Oklahoma. And I'm like, Cooter, he met Cooter. I'm like, what a small world. What a small world. So I think his name's Tim, and Tim's going to set up next month. Orlando's in the house. Good morning. Mr. Archer is here. What's happening? Bro Coin says hello to Orlando. And he says, I'm a VG kind of guy. I am too. One of my vintage dealers downstairs, Greg, he's got like all the pre-war and I bought several cards from him. And I was going through it. I'm like, any Cubs? And he had a stack, and any Cubs, and he had a Rube Crow T206, and it was more than I wanted to pay for Rube Crow, but it was a 5. It was an SGC 5, and I'm like, it's too mint for me. When it comes to pre-war, and I told Gray, I'm like, I want ones. I want ones, because ones I can buy a couple ones for the price of a 4 or 5. So I'm also a VG, and when it comes to pre-war, a pour, an authentic, or a 1, as long as it's slab, but I'll buy raw. I did buy an old Judge a couple of weeks ago. Came in the mail while I was away. So I was gonna sub the Jeter SP rookie and my old Judge. So I guess I'll drop those off in Janesville. Got to remember to take those. And a Mariano. I think I'm gonna sub one of the 92 Bowman Mariano Riveras as well. Vintage Goats, what's going on? Good morning. Talking Bitcoin. James says hello to Mr. Orlando. Orlando says, made a trade picking up a cards at the National. Very nice. Orlando predicts the Peyton will be an 8. Nicely centered. It is. It's a beautiful copy. I hope it gets an 8. I hope it gets an 8. Donald, good morning. What's going on? Christian, good morning to you. James in the house says, anyone collecting comic cards since Topps Chrome hobby boxes are too much? And this is not like a Topps Chrome being a dud is not new. Like, Topps Chrome sucks. Like, it always has. People are like, oh, I ripped this box and it sucks. It's like, it always has. I bought, it would have been 2 or 3 years ago, Adbert Alzolay's rookie year. And he had a Chrome rookie auto. And like less than a week after release, and you get one in a hobby box, you get one auto. And look at the checklist. It's a shitty, like, it's not like there's some great names on it, but look at the quantity of autos and like the odds. A couple of years ago, Adbert Alzolay's rookie year, less than a week after release, I was able to pick up his Chrome rookie auto for $3 shipped. $3 shipped. And you're paying, a couple of years ago, it was less than what it is now, but I think they're $250 almost $300 a box, maybe. It's just, I was talking to a card shop owner yesterday at the show, and he's like, it's selling like crazy, Topps Chrome. And so people are buying it. I would not recommend buying Topps Chrome. Brian says, LOL, this is why you grade with SGC and not buy SGC cards. I love if you want a high grade, send to SGC, right? Exactly. SGC is like my first Fisher Price toy. Someday I will grow up and use adult graders. Red light, the F-bomb. We're dropping some F-bombs. So Madison Card Show yesterday, we did 4 rooms, 200 dealer tables. And just like every other time. So a little background. The show started in April of 2021. We were still coming off COVID restrictions. In fact, the very first Madison Card Show at the Sheraton Hotel, we had to have hand sanitizer and masks throughout the room. We could only have like 250 people in the room. I think we had to socially distance the tables. Masks were mandated in our county still. So we had a lot of the COVID restrictions at the very first Madison Card Show. 17 dealer tables in a 6,000 square foot room. Plenty of room to walk around. But not too many dealers to shop from at the April 2021 Madison Card Show. I remember one of the first meetings with the hotel during that time said, we could do 50 tables in this room. And then if you want to use the hallway, you could utilize the hallway too. Now, the first show, 17 tables, it's like, I'm never going to get to 50 tables. Like, that was a dream that, I think 40 was an attainable number. When I first started the Madison Card Show, I'm thinking, I'd be really happy to get 40 tables, do a monthly show with 40 tables. I think we can do that. 50. Oh, that's a pipe dream. Being out in the hallway, that'll never happen. Well, by the end of the year, I think it was by November of that year, I think we had reached the 50 table point and went into the hallway. And we just had a few tables out in the hallway. And then that grew. And then we outgrew the hallway and put some extra tables inside the ballroom. I think that's when I started utilizing the concession areas, and we jam-packed an extra table on the wall and another table here and there, and ended up, I think, 75 tables in the upstairs ballroom, and we're at 20 in the mezzanine. Actually, might have squeezed a couple more in this month. So then it was like, I don't want to do another room. I didn't want to do the hallway at the very beginning. If you've watched Hobby Evolution since the early days, you'll remember when it's like, I don't want to break up the show and go in the hallway. We did. It was successful. Outgrew that space. All right. If there's demand for another ballroom, I'll get pricing. The Williamson ballroom downstairs, that worked out. The first month that I did that, I think it was in February of 2022. I'm like, it's just too much work. And I was setting up in that first month, my mom actually ran my table. I was still setting up my bargain boxes. My mom ran my table, but my mom lives 3 hours away. She's got a life. She's got a more active social life than I do. She's like, obviously I can't do this every month. So I think I skipped the March show. I skipped setting up. And we added even more tables in the Williamson ballroom and eventually outgrew that space. And I just had a waiting list from that point on. And that was, probably at some point last year, we outgrew that space and we're selling out on a regular basis. And then there was so much demand. It's like, okay, what if there's the State Street ballroom? And I did try that. I experimented with that third ballroom, I think May of last year. And the problem was the Sheraton misquoted me on the number of tables they had, which I didn't find out until the day of the show. And so we had very skinny tables, not good. So that was a fail. So we went back. And then for the next several months, just had a waiting list for the Williamson ballroom. I went out and I overbooked a couple times and went out and bought tables, overbooked again, bought more tables, ended up buying 20 tables and checked into the State Street ballroom again. Now there's demand for even more tables than what I had in May of last year. Let's do it. It was an insane success the first time we ran State Street Ballroom this year. It might have been January or February. Insane. In fact, at some points you couldn't even get into the room. It was so packed. And I will tell you a little secret, because some people think the State Street Ballroom gets more traffic. It does not. It's an optical illusion because there's more tables in a less amount of space, in a smaller space. Just the way the room, it's like a true square. So we can where Williamson has kind of a cutout, and it's kind of an oblong. It doesn't really work. And I've tried a couple different methods and still was able to get the same amount of tables. So State Street, there's more tables in a smaller amount of space than the Williamson ballroom. So it looks like there's more people in there when there's probably just the same amount. So that's a little secret there. So in the last several months, Pokemon has just been crazy. Pokemon has grown and grown and grown. I have received complaints from sports collectors and vendors. I'm a sports guy. I want to go to a show with sports cards. And I kind of tailor my show around what I'm interested in. And so far it's worked until it doesn't. But I understand there's a huge market for Pokemon in other TCG. And I've got several dealers that have been with me since the early days. And I was turning a lot of Pokemon dealers away. It's like I'm out of space for Pokemon. And then it's like, okay, what if I do a Pokemon only room and those dealers have to bring their own tables? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'll bring my own table and set up. So this month, yesterday, for the first time, we opened up the Badger Stateroom. Badger Stateroom is, if you're familiar with the Sheraton layout, you walk in the front lobby, and if you go straight back on the right-hand side, that's the Williamson Ballroom in the corner. But if you take the hallway before you hit the elevators, there's a Badger room, Badger Stateroom right there. And so open that room up, and it was BYOT. Now this room is funky because there's some pillars in the room, which is not ideal. So it breaks up the footprint a little bit. So if I do it again, I'm going to have to go back and do a little experimenting on a different layout. The layout that I ran yesterday was perfect for the amount of tables. I think there were 15 tables maybe in there. And so it was perfect for the amount. So here's the surprising thing. This is the surprising thing. It's the first room, first time I've used that room, and I expected low traffic. You also have to take into consideration that when you're in the Capitol Ballroom, when you're in the Williamson Ballroom, when you're in the State Street Ballroom, when you're in the mezzanine, those spaces are mixed, sports and Pokemon. So you have all collectors in those areas because there's a mix of sports and Pokemon in all the rooms. So you're going to have a mix of people. Now, if you have a Pokemon only room or even a sports only room, you're only going to get a percentage of that, whether it's 50% or less. You're going to see less traffic because you're not going to see the sports collectors most likely, unless there's a crossover and they do Pokemon and sports. But I think there's kind of a line. I know a lot of people do both. But I think for the most part, it's going to be segmented. So you're going to see less people in a niche room. So I had gone down early morning to check things out, and it was slow, but kind of what I expected. I went out and bought a ton of new signs. So we had plenty of signage throughout the hotel to guide you to each room. I went back toward the end of the show and talked to 4 dealers, and each one of the 4 dealers talked highly of the room. And actually, I think a 5th messaged me last night and said it was great. So I was actually surprised by that. I had another dealer say it was good, it was okay, and his concern was parking, which is a very valid point because when you have 200 tables, that's a lot of dealers parking. Not only that, it's a hotel. There's people staying at the hotel. That also takes up parking. We're at a space right along John Nolan Drive. There's not many other places to park nearby. There's a neighboring hotel that's actually owned. It's a property from the same company that owns the Sheraton that we're in. So you can park in that parking lot as well. I can't remember the name. It just changed the name. They did renovations recently. So parking is a concern, and that's something that I would like to figure out sooner than later. So that was a concern, and that's been a concern for a while now. Even when it was 125 tables, that was a concern. So that was a surprise that and the thing is, I didn't get much negative feedback on park. I don't think I heard any complaints. Now, I'm sure there were complaints about the parking situation, but I heard more complaints last month than I did yesterday regarding the parking situation. And I don't know why that is, because I think there was nothing going on last month. But I think now, again, this is where it felt like there was less people. And I said that I said this to a couple dealers yesterday. And now thinking back, it's like, no, there probably was the same amount of people than last month. And here's the reason why. Last month, the June Madison Card Show, there were only 2 ballrooms open. The State Street, I didn't book the State Street Ballroom because I didn't know what demand would be in the summer months. And there was more demand than I expected. and it had already been booked for June. So then I signed the contracts for the rest of the quarter to get the State Street Ballroom. So all of that traffic is now isolated into 2 rooms instead of 3. Yesterday, we have a 4th room, so that breaks the traffic up even further. So maybe there was the same amount of people. My thought is I heard less feedback on the parking situation, which leads me to believe maybe there were less in attendance. But again, having the show broken up so much, it's kind of hard to tell. And there's multiple entrances. It's just kind of I wish there was a way to kind of track that. I'm sure there could be. Just have a clicker at each entrance. I don't know. But speaking of that, I'll get to a couple of the comments. There's only a couple comments. And I said this when I opened the State Street Ballroom, where this is too much. I don't think I'm going to do it next month. It's too much work for me. It's starting to, and I need to realize, because now looking back, it's like, I did it, I can do it again. But do I want to continue doing this? 4 rooms, 200 tables by myself. I think it's come to the point where I may need to have some type of help. So we'll see. James says comic cards, TCG. George says morning, driving back from meeting Dan. I saw the picture. Dan and George meeting up. Badger Stateroom. Let's go. Bring your own booze as well, or just tables. BYOB. Hey, I won't check your cooler. Bring in whatever. You can't bring in food. You're not supposed to, but I know some people do. There is a cap. They do offer food in the like cafe area. They have sandwiches and actually they have beer. You can buy beer at the hotel and soda. So that stuff's available in the bar. Unfortunately, the bar doesn't open until like 3. I think it would be cool, and we've kind of experimented with different. We opened a concession stand upstairs in the Capitol Ballroom, and it just didn't fly. But the hours they set, they only ran from like 9 to 12:30, and like I'm so on the go, like I don't even think about eating until 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'm not thinking about eating a hot dog at 9 a.m. and I don't think anybody else is either. So they did it for 2 months, and it was so I don't know if I'll have that conversation again or not, but there is food available down in the cafe. It would be nice if the bar was open starting at like noon. There are people that I don't know how much business it would get at noon though. But who knows? Yeah, 9 a.m. hot dogs. Nobody's eating a hot dog at 9 a.m. So it was it's a lot of work. Basically, I am now spending pretty much all day Friday with the show. And Saturday when I started the very first month, it was such a small show. Like I showed up at 7. Show starts at 9. I think we told dealers start setting up at 8 back then. It was first come, first serve, find a table you like. And then it grew from there. And now it's like, I'm putting maps to get, really a month. I'm starting to work on next month already. I think I'm going to ignore messages today. So if you have reached out to me or you plan to reach out to me today, I'm probably going to not respond. Just need to decompress. So we'll see. Am I going to do four rooms again? If there's a demand, the feedback was great. So if there's enough demand, we'll do it again. So we'll see. I'd kind of like to wean off bringing in 20 of my own tables and just requiring all State Street Ballroom bring your own tables in. So I don't have to. I was able. So I made 2 trips Friday. The first trip, I typically go in the afternoon and I just make sure all the rooms are set up correctly and put name tags down. And then I come back at night or in the evening, and that's when I bring my tables and I set up, because I have to set up the entire State Street Ballroom and put out chairs, put up the tables I bring in, get the layout, put out. And then the Badger stateroom, I just had to put chairs out, and here's the rough layout of what I want this to be. The difficulty is it becomes anarchy, especially in the State Street Ballroom where there's over 40 tables. It becomes anarchy, and the layout is not correct. So I like to put my tables where, okay, this is, and then put the chairs, fill in the chairs. So I'll probably continue to do that. So let's see. James wants to know, were you ever into comic cards? No, I don't think so. Like Marvel cards. I was not. I've acquired them in like bulk buys and stuff. But I have not. Let's talk about, speaking of what I was into, but most of what I bought yesterday was not per se comic cards, but non-sport cards yesterday. Cooter says you're a victim of your own success. That's probably some truth to that. So my guy, Jeff, awesome dude. I don't know if Zach and Porter are in here this morning, but I know Zach shops with Jeff at the Oak Creek show. Jeff sits up basically my old spot. Like whenever I set up on that back wall, Bronco was there. It's Bronco, Jeff, and Eric. And so Jeff has bargain boxes. And so Matt from Iowa was digging through, and I just happened to peek into some non-sport. Well, I guess these are sports cards, but they're non-major sport, I guess. But I saw Olympics cards. And guess what starts Friday? The Olympics. Now, these are from 2012. So I don't think many of these athletes are in the 2024 Olympics. But I did know some names, and these are the gold foil versions, and I know that these sell well. Allie Raisman still has a high market. This is actually the gold foil. There's 5 of them. So these are listed in my eBay store. I think I've got $10 on those. Same with Nastia Lukin. Gymnastics and those are both gymnastics. Gymnastics typically sell pretty well for Olympics cards. So haven't moved any yet, but I just started listing them last night. So Jeff had some great stuff. So I saw those, and I'm like, I wonder what else. I wonder what else is in there. So I ended up buying a whole stack of Olympics cards. There was now Jessica Long, I believe, is in this year's Olympics. So Jessica Long, when I looked up the comps on her cards, they were kind of lower. So I'm thinking I'll just hold out till the Olympics, and if she wins a gold, maybe they'll sell. There was only one Misty May Trainer, beach volleyball, Brittany Reese, track and field. These are all foils. I think most of these are gold foils. Brittany Viola, diving. Then I just started picking out, even though I don't know them. Kim Rode, I think she's got a ton of gold medals in archery. I don't know if she retired, though. Wow, her first Olympic Games were 1996, so she's probably retired, I would assume. Marielle Zagunis, I think she's got a bunch of fencing gold medals. So I picked up a couple of those. Rebecca Sony, she's a swimmer. Swimming does pretty well as well. Here's another, she's diving, Jessica Parado. Natalie Coughlin, I think it's Coughlin, swimming, and I know she's a name that I recognized. Alicia Sacramone, and she's a gymnast. I think there's like 7 or 8 of these. I'm not sure if she's in this year's games or not. Women's soccer does well. These are bronze. Kelly O'Hara. Rashay Warren, a boxer. I think he's in this year's Olympics. And Sean Johnson. These will sell. These are, I think, the bronze version. Yes, those are bronze. So I got to get those listed as well. So I pulled those out of Jeff's boxes. I ended up getting those for about a dime. I think 12 cents is what they came out to. Here's some WCW Nitro cards from 2000. This was like a trading card game. So there's a Buff Bagwell, Bret Hart, and Hulk Hogan. Some other wrestling. He had a bunch of wrestling. This is like the 2001 Ultimate Diva collection. I don't know much about these. I'll have to look these up, but there were Molly Holly. Women's wrestlers sell really well. So there were a few Molly Hollies I pulled out. WWE Heritage, especially the older sets, sell well. This is Chrome, Johnny Nitro. And then there was a stack of 2005 WWE Heritage. This is an awesome set. I love this. So there's Chief J Strongbow, Classy Freddie Blassie, Cowboy Bob Orton, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Hillbilly Jim, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jerry the King Lawler, Junkyard Dog, old JYD. That's George's favorite wrestler, Junkyard Dog. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Nikolai Volkov, Sergeant Slaughter, Superstar Billy Graham, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and the British Bulldog. So I think those will do well. A couple bucks a pop, but again, got these for about a dime, I think. There was a whole stack of Beavis and Butthead cards, and I asked Matt, I'm like, hey, where were those Beavis and Butthead cards? And then I start going through, and it's like, I don't even know like what to do. So I bought two. What's his name? Mr. Van Driesen. Haiku. And then this one was a funny one. I had to get this. Wieners, 99 cents. So those were the only two Beavis and Buttheads cards I got. There was a Pop Cards set from, I don't even know what year this is, but it seems to be an older set. John Hader, Leighton Meester. Trying to think of, does it say what she was in? No. Kristen Bell, Emma Roberts, Selma Blair. And I think the Selma Blair sold, I think I saw one sell for like $10. So we were looking 90210 stickers, Jason Priestley, Brandon, and Dylan McKay, Luke Perry, rest in peace. Matt said I was looking for Shannon Doherty in there, but I didn't see any. And then there was another guy, and he goes, I already pulled him. So she was in there. This is a promo. There were a few of these. And promo cards, it's kind of hard to tell on some, especially like something like this. This is Uncle Cracker. Who's your uncle? From 2002. It's a promo card. Might be worth a couple bucks. We'll see. There were some Star Wars cards. I pulled out 4. These are from 1980. Empire Strikes Back. There's Princess Leia. Again, these are probably only worth a couple bucks. They're in pretty good condition though. Luke Skywalker, and Harrison Ford on Solo. So those, picked up that stack. I think I paid $10 for a stack of over 80 cards. So that was pretty much. Oh, and I did buy. So those were the dime cards. Where is the other? Oh, and those Olympic cards too. Where are the other cards? Oh, maybe in that sec. But so these I listed. These I got out of the dollar box. 5-star cards dollar box. This is a Derek Jeter Gold Label Class 2. This is in my eBay store. Nice condition, 69 tops checklist. Don Drysdale, 4th series. That is in my eBay store. There's also a Bob Gibson checklist, unmarked, nice condition. This is image variation from Sapphire, Carlos Rodon, in my eBay store. Also, First Bowman Chrome for $1. First Bowman Chrome Scooter Jeanette, also in my eBay store. And then, but wait, there's more. Remember, I wasn't buying. I wasn't planning on buying yesterday. Let's see. I did multiple deals. These were separate deal. Where'd these come from? So the first deal of the day was from JR, who was back for the first time in several months. He was going through a move, and I think he's moving down to Champaign. So he's like, I have a Fergie Jenkins from the 2021 National Topps Heritage for $15. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Cooter, I think you are correct. Yeah, my video I'm almost done. Christian Hernandez. This is a Transcendent numbered out of 50 for $5. And Alfonso Rosario, green lava auto out of 99. So I did pay full sticker on these. We just did a trade out. I think, yeah, 30, 35, 50. I just traded, I waived the table fee and picked up those 3 cards for a table at the Madison Card Show. Not the first time. These were gifted to me from dealer John. Thank you, John. This is a 90. This is Topps Gold. Cubs or outfield prospects, Nico Horner, Chrome rookie, and Pete Crow Armstrong, rookie of the year favorites, Mojo. I haven't had a sip of coffee yet. Mushroom coffee. Then I was gifted these. I forgot who gave those to me, but thank you. Some Topps Chrome Platinum. Haven't even opened those yet. My buddy Vil Graffs was in the house, and he's like, "Here, I got something for you. This is Topps finest gold X-Fractor, Mark Pryor, numbered out of 199. So thank you, Vil Graffs. Beautiful card. Then I did a deal and got he also had a Sandberg rookie auto and something else. I think for another Fergie Jenkins auto. I had 2 Fergie Jenkins autos come to me and 2 Ryan Sandberg rookie autos come to me. So I didn't want, I've got a bunch of Sandberg autos. He signs through the mail. So I just don't see the value in Sandberg autos as other people would. And Fergie, I just bought a Fergie auto. I have a ton of Fergie autos as well. But we did make a deal. This is a gold auto Caleb Killian, numbered out of 50, $10. I'll buy it. And then a black refractor Wilson Contreras for $10, plus a 1-touch. And he threw in the Christopher Morel silver pack. Then the next deal I did was Kurt, who had some awesome stuff. He had a couple star unopened packs, 85 star basketball unopened like boxes. And he had a couple Jordan rookies. And he had a few Ernie Banks. And I don't think I have this particular Ernie Banks card. I do now. I bought it. 59 Topps All-Star. Love this card. And I don't think I have one. I don't think I have another one. I have one now. So thank you to Kurt. Gave me this for $30. Great deal. And then my last deal of the day went upstairs, and good vendor of the show, longtime dealer, Craig, he's like, I got some Cubs for you. And I kept looking at this and looking at this, and I'm like, oh, I love that card. I just, and he's like, he goes, don't look at the price tag. Look at the card. I'm like, oh man, what a salesman Craig is. And he's like, because that price isn't your price. So his price was 75. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what's the price? And he goes, I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you for what I have into it. I paid 45 for it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I'll do you one better. I'll give you 50. So I negotiated against myself and paid $50 for a gold rookie auto from Platinum, Justin Steele. So even though I wasn't buying yesterday, I did a little buying. So, and I'll be doing some more buying later today. The Singles Club on their way to Cleveland to the National. They're stopping in Madison later today. Have over 50,000 singles. They couldn't get sleeved in time for the National. So that benefits me. We worked out a deal. So I'll be picking up those cards later today. So hopefully there's some good stuff in there. And you'll find it in my eBay store. Might do a live video tonight with the unboxing of the Singles Club. A couple last chats before we go. Andy Mack, good morning. It's been a while. It has. There's been a couple people, and I'm sure it's summer. There's been a few regulars that we haven't seen in the chat. So welcome back. Cooter says, I think your white hat is messing with the brightness of your video as your camera adjusts. I think you're right. So no more white hat. No more Switzerland white hat on the videos. Orlando says, when you get some help with the show, you'll be able to buy more good stuff, right? Tracy's in the house. Happy Sunday. So that's what I had for today. A successful Madison Card Show. Next event is Saturday, August 24th. We will have at least 3 ballrooms. So we will have at least 3 ballrooms. And maybe we'll do the Pokemon only room in the Badger State room next month as well. We'll see how demand goes here in the next few weeks. So Saturday, August 24th, next Madison Card Show. I'll be set up. I'll have plenty of new inventory at the next show I set up in 3 weeks in Janesville, Wisconsin. Sunday, August 11th, at the Holiday Inn Convention Center, right off the Interstate I-39 in Janesville. I'll have, hopefully I'll have some quarter boxes with all new stuff you haven't seen before. I'll also have plenty of new dollar boxes. I think I'm going to focus on dollar boxes, try to get some quarter boxes, but more focus on the dollar boxes, especially with what I'm picking up today. Going to be a lot of dollar stuff in what I pick up today. So with that, I'm going to go do some shipping. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. A few of the cards that I showed today are already listed in my eBay store. More to come. Save 25% when you buy 7 or more items at regular price. 99centcards.com, and a whole bunch of 1970 singles from baseball, football, and basketball are loaded, and more still to come. All righty. Have a great Sunday. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.